Skyrim, the game that keeps on giving. From ghosts at night to a room full of dead bodies and even a Santa Claus suit, check out these 15 amazing Skyrim secrets.
Super players.
It does not matter whether you like Minecraft or not, it's a video game that refuses to die and has influenced a lot of video games ever since its release. The developers of Skyrim seem to be just as aware of Minecraft's relevance as the next guy, and that's why you can find a pickaxe on top of the Throat of the World, which is specifically called Notched Pickaxe. This is, of course, a reference to both the game's creator, Notch Person, and the fact that pickaxes are a very commonly used tool in the world of Minecraft. Ever thought about finding ghosts in Skyrim? Whether you did or did not, you're in for quite an experience if you hang around in unsafe areas between the time of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. What will happen here is that you will run into a headless ghost riding a horse, which is of course a reference to the Sleepy Hollow story too. If you have the Dragonborn DLC in Skyrim, you can travel through a cave, and once you get to a certain spot, you can see some Recklings worshipping something. Once they're dead and you can take a proper look at your surroundings, you will realize that they were all worshipping a sled that is attached to a reindeer. Whether you find it annoying to have companions with you in Skyrim, or hate how long it takes to lockpick every locked chest that you find in the game, this secret is exactly what you have been looking for. Something that players often miss is the fact that your companions in Skyrim can open any chest in the game, even those that require higher skill for the player to unlock. Simply ask the companion to open it for you, and they will do it immediately. A Skyrim secret that creeped every player of the game out was the Dead Body Cleanup Cell. Using one of two specific commands can throw the player in this strange room with creepy lighting and many dead bodies lying around everywhere. At first, players were very confused as to what they're seeing, but eventually everyone figured out that this room is not meant to be a creepy secret that you can find. Instead, it's supposed to be a room where the dead bodies of NPCs are transferred to help with the game's overall performance, and how much that it needs to display at a time. The leap of faith from the Assassin's Creed franchise is one of its most important aspects of the games, as it both features the silly stealth we love and the eagle-eye view that allows you to bask in the beauty of the game's cities. That tradition carries onto the world of Skyrim thanks to a playful secret that has players go to the Bard's Leap Summit. Walk to the perch at the end of the bridge, which happens to be overlooking a waterfall, and this you will find a small platform on which you can stand and jump off of. Once you do that, you will be greeted by a ghost on the ground if you survive, and your speech skill increases by 1 level. The Sword of King Arthur has been seen in cartoons and movies by people of all ages, so it's no surprise that the developers of Skyrim are no exception, as you can find the sword at the south of the Broken Tower redoubt. Don't worry, you actually can pull the sword out and use it in battle afterwards without being the rightful King of England too. While everyone uses Skyrim's map pretty often, there is one thing about it that many players seem to miss and get surprised when they find out what it is. Whenever you're using the map and zoom onto a location, you are seeing an actual real-time 3D representation of what's going on there. The game has a living map, and things like absorbing a dragon soul will actually show you orange glow on the map where that incident took place. Star Wars is one of the largest franchises on the planet, and it's more surprising every time someone does not know of it rather than when they do. Skyrim does not miss the opportunity to include a Star Wars secret, and it's located in the Bleak Coast Cave. You can find the skeleton of a person hanging from the ceiling, with a glowing sword found right below him on the ground. This is a direct reference to Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back scene where Luke Skywalker is kidnapped by a Wampa for a short time. If you've played Skyrim long enough to get towards the final story missions, you'll know that you are tasked with entering Sovngarde and killing Alduin. Once inside, there are many giant statues that are overlooking the area. While prevalent visually, they do not hold any point otherwise and simply oversee the area. That is, until you realize that those statues creepily stare at the player. You can test this by looking at the statues, turning away and waiting a few seconds while being turned away. Then you can look towards them and you'll notice that all of their angles have been changed and now they look at the Dragonborn. It's a detail that's easy to miss, but it adds extra personality to Sovngarde. If you watch comedy movies often, then you must be familiar with the Hangover trilogy, in which the main characters always find themselves in inexplicable situations, which then leads them to figuring out how they got so far. In Skyrim, you can go on a quest called A Night to Remember, and most things that you will do resemble that of the movie structure, such as waking up with no idea what happened and trying to learn more and more about what caused such a situation to begin with. It's a very odd combination to see in a video game about swords, dinosaurs, and black magic, but it's surely a welcomed addition. If you complete the Thieves Guild quest, you must be familiar with the shadow marks that belong to the Guild of Thieves. While that much is obvious, a deeper meaning to this that not everyone is aware of is the fact that these marks are created by former thieves. The markings are all different and let you know whether a place is filled with treasure, has been robbed, or if the owner of the place is on good terms with the Thieves Guild. Blackridge is a place that almost every Skyrim player is familiar with and has visited at some point. But one thing that some gamers don't know is that Blackridge is the home to a secret boss fight. Once inside the city, try finding a glowing orb that is hanging from the ceiling next to the debate hall, and if you shout at the orb, a dragon called Volthuyol will be summoned. You can then fight the dragon or let it live, which causes it to fly around and kill anything that stands in its way. Most Skyrim players must be familiar with the Innocence Lost questline, which leads to the Dragonborn being kidnapped by Astrid. You are then asked to choose a prisoner and murder them, and that's what most players did to leave the place alive. However, you can kill Astrid too, and that starts a new questline that not many players have beaten. The goal? Simple. Destroy the Dark Brotherhood, which means you will be wiping out their entire gang. Completing this quest gives you gold and the password to the sanctuary. You can find a couple of different Easter eggs in Skyrim that offer a nod to many other popular video games in the industry. But Portal 2's Potato Glados is the most unusual addition that could possibly happen in the game. What makes the secret funnier is that you only find the potato form and not the proper machine ones, which had a very unique appearance.
Super players.